people in the crowd, I talk about my wife and they bring up Mae Young and I'm like, it's not Mae Young, you dummy. Like just, and it was just like a very fluid thing that happened. It was meant to happen in wrestling, and I'm glad that it was me.
Mark, tell us now. You're out basically. You're a free agent now, but you're now.
Hey Jerry, right before we do, I got one more wrestling question, and I asked Mark because I thought it was one of the greatest segments ever. Mark, is your retirement speech the most proud moment of your career?
Oh God, thanks for bringing that.
Because it's the most proud moment I've ever seen.
That's the only time I ever called him and chewed him out.
Mark, I could watch that every day of the week. Now to the day I die, which I hope's a long time away.
Thank you for bringing that up.
That was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. It was just you're sitting there just fishing, and all of a sudden you set the hook, and it was just magic.
That was the best work that I ever did.
Yeah.
And I told Vince that I really wanted to retire. And for whatever reason, just like everybody else that go in that office, I came out with a 3-year deal.
That's right. Hey, Shawn Michaels said one time he walked in to quit. Vince goes, we'll talk about it later. He goes, I just quit.
and that was I said, well, I really did write my speech that I want to retire. And he was like, well, let's do it. And I went, what do you mean, let's do it? He said, well, like, would you go and retire? So I knew this 6 months out. So for 6 months, I just, planted the seed with everybody. And basically, like Big Show said, lied through my teeth. And I mean, Arsenio Hall, and it's on the ESPN sports ticker. Mark Henry set to retire from WWE. And
Mark, that was before the days when ESPN even mentioned us on the air.
Right. They didn't have a relationship.
Yeah.
And Big Show, man, I had Gerald called me and cussed me out.
I was hooked, brother.
Big Show left me a voicemail that I still have on my phone that I should play to people one day. And I'm sitting on my couch, you motherfucker, and I'm crying with my wife. And then you go and do that shit. When I see you, I'm going to punch you in the face. And he hangs up. And I had people calling me that I didn't even know. I'm like, how did you get my phone number? Like, I don't, Hulk Hogan, like Terry called me and I'm like, hello? And he's like, hey, brother, it's Terry. Terry who? Terry Bollea. And I was like, Hogan? And he's like, hey, man, I just want to let you know that that might have been the best piece of work I ever saw. And how long did you know that you were doing that? And I said, probably about 6 months. And he was like, wow. He was like, I'm just sitting here and I've never been got before. He said, I always could smell it. I could see through it. I know wrestling when I see it. He said, brother, that wasn't wrestling. He's like, I was like, wow, thank you, man. Like, I appreciate it. And that's the only time I ever had a conversation with him. Like it was just crazy. Like Josh Brolin, who we have a mutual friend, and well, y'all know Freddie Prinze.
Yeah.
And Josh Brolin, big wrestling fan. I mean, Thanos, like, one of the best actors in Hollywood. And he calls me and he said, hey, I hope you're not upset, brother, but I got your number from Freddie And I just want to let you know it's the best thing I ever saw in wrestling. So like when I was getting those type of calls, and I just was like, what the hell just happened? Like my back, I broke my back like 6 months before that with Brock. And I'm actually going to have surgery at the end of the month, finally, based off that injury. And I really wanted to retire because I was in pain. And I was told not to get back surgery. If you get back surgery, you got to keep getting back surgeries. And I was like, so I'm not going to do it. So what I ended up doing is just doing rehab and therapy and stuff. And now the vertebrae is shifted and it's bent like this. I'm going to text y'all a picture and you're going to be like, holy shit. And they're just going to fix it. They're going to take out that scar tissue and push those nerves back in the right place and then put a bracket in and make my spine back straight again. But John Cena was the one that was like, you sure you want to do this? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Vince, that's what he wants. You get a man what he wants. And he just made that so easy. You know, like even there was a lot of spontaneous things that happened. Him handing me the title and saying you deserve this, and me saying no. Like you don't never hand a man a title; they got to earn it. Like all of that stuff just happened by way of just your respect and understanding of the business. But everything else, like it was planned out. You know, it got some levity in there a couple of times. People in the crowd, you know, I talk about my wife and they bring up Mae Young and I'm like, it's not Mae Young, you dummy. You know, like just, and it was just like a very fluid thing that happened. It was meant to happen in wrestling. And I'm glad that it was me because it put a button on my career.
Nobody else could have done it like that either, Mark.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It's something I can watch to this every day. It's just fantastic because you're sitting there watching it. Then when you see the swerve, you go, genius, just genius. I love it.
John, like my wife, this is my second time that I didn't answer, so I have to answer. Jana, I'm on a podcast with Gerald Brisco and Bradshaw. They podcast.
You call me back. I won't even tell you what I need to tell you. Just call me back.
All right.
And, yeah,
I'm not at the strip club. I'm actually.
put in a cigar. All damn night.
All right, no cigars, no strip club. I'm good.
That's great.
Bye.
And Jenna, I never been to a strip club with Mark either.
Yes, you did.
Oh, come on, you killing my gimmick here.
She hung up. She hung up.
Good.